All right. Okay. Now let's see how our stream is looking before we get started here. Okay. Let's see here. All right. There's that. Let's see something here. Aha. All right. Need to do a quick thumbnail real quick. Oh, why do we got some echo? Huh. All right, testing one, two, three. All right, testing one, two, three. All right, testing one, two, three. Okay. All right, I think that we are good to start going here. Okay. All right, I think that we are good to start. All right. Let's get ourselves a little thumbnail. Because today we're going to be talking about a bunch of different topics from motorcycle gear to this Dancing Motos situation, which I think is dumb, but we'll get into that. All right. So give me 1 second here. We're going to do live stream thumbnail thingy here. This is what goes into going and setting up a live stream, doing all this YouTube stuff. If you enjoy it, it is a lot of fun. But now let's want a little bit of a timer. No photo. We need a timer. Where's the timer thingy? This is why I need a tech person. All right, here we go. Got a lot to unpack today. All right. There we go. I think that will work. Oh, now, Let's send that on over. All right. Send this on over here. Boom. Yep, we got that. All right. Studio. Edit. The thumbnail. Upload thumbnail. Boom. Right there. File is bigger than 2 megabytes. You got to be kidding me. Just resize it. I don't want to deal with it. You gotta be kidding me. Quick actions. Convert image. Convert image. You gotta be kidding me. It's still too big. That's what she said. There we go. Let's go here. Playlist. Latest videos. Alright, sorry. Is anybody in here watching right now? Doing some behind the scenes stuff real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes, the unboxing of what we got going on here. Alright. It says it's good. What? Alright. Okay. So, getting into today's video here, I'm a little baffled. Alright. One, that this one creator is getting so much freaking attention for being dumb. All right. And I believe that y'all know who I'm talking about. All right. Dancing freaking Moto. All right. Now, I'm no gatekeeper, and nobody should be a gatekeeper to the motorcycle world or community or anything like that, you know, especially when it comes to making content on the internet. All right. It doesn't take anything anymore. All you need is a cell phone, an internet connection, and some personality. That is it. That's all that you need in order to create content, post it up on the internet. And then if people like it, they like it. I don't care what type of content you make. I'd prefer that people not go and idolize. All right. Going and ghost riding your way down the freeway, you know, I prefer that you wouldn't do that. All right. Many different reasons, but long and short of it is it's really freaking dangerous, and it gives a motorcycle community a bad rep. All right. We're trying to open up our doors legally in a lot of different states, and those type of actions don't help us achieve those goals. All right. And traumatizing families when you crash, which undoubtedly, if you ride like that all the time, you burn the candle at both ends, bad things are going to happen. All right. But regardless of what type of content you make, there's repercussions for doing bad things and getting caught. And running from the cops is one of them. Dancing Moto, you know, make better life choices. That's the long and short of it. And right over here, I'm not super good at all of this stuff. Where did it go? I just clicked on it. All right. Sorry. I am trying to figure out how to do all this stuff. All right. We're going to go here and transition. Oh. Ah. All right. Now let's see. Is it going to work? This dude right here. Oh, it's not going to work. At least not right now. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to do the thing. All right. But my point is you make bad choices, there is consequences for those choices. All right. You run from the police. I don't care what state you're in or whatnot, Arkansas, Georgia. All right. Most of the time, you're not going to get away. All right. There's going to be times that you will. However, there's repercussions even if you get away. Because the next time you go out to ride your bike, drive your car, or whatever, you see a cop, you're going to be sitting there thinking, huh, do they remember me? Should I run again? The anxiety level is off the roof. Now, if you're running for thrills, you're just straight dumb. If you're running because you have pre-existing problems or unresolved legal situations, take care of your business, all right? Don't sit there and keep running from that and then end up running from the cops, end up in a wreck or worse, all right? Just stop it. Get your shit taken care of, all right? Now, moving on to the next item of business, all right? Now, we recently posted a couple weeks ago this video, all right? On Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. All right. It is writer Jeremy that I know from WMRRA. He came up, talked to us. If you want to see that video, go check out the channel. Look for beginner track day mistakes. We met him because he came up and he talked to us. All right. Oh, there's a ton of comments in here from people who don't understand that this was from the racetrack. Probably because there's a ton of people in the background, as you can see, that are wearing like basic motorcycle gear, which would lead people to believe that this was from the, taken from the street, in which case this dude right here is telling you to go ahead and just, if you don't think you're going to make the turn, just lean it and you should make it. Well, though that is true, and we ended the clip off with, worst thing that's going to happen will be a low side, and we'll take that. Keep in mind that a low side is, if you're going to crash, is the best situation to have happen if you're going to crash. Typically, it's lower speeds, and you're not being catapulted off of your bike, and your bike is sliding away from you so you don't get trapped underneath it. Ideal situation if you're going to crash. All right. Now, what he's specifically talking about here is on the racetrack where there is a runoff, all right? A lot of the comments in here are like, this is horrible advice because if you're going to crash, you're going to low side, you're going to hit a barrier or whatever. The biggest takeaway from that is if you're pushing it that hard that you're afraid you're not going to make the turn, slow down. If you're on the street, you shouldn't be riding that fast anyways. Okay? And also make sure that you know the roads that you're riding quickly on. All right? Now, I'm no saint. I enjoy riding fast. I enjoy hitting the canyons. I like going up mountain roads. But after going to the racetrack, I realized that in order to really be able to push it, I feel a whole lot better on a racetrack. Now, there has been some people who commented on previous track videos where we're promoting going to the racetrack. They're like, well, we don't always have a racetrack where we're at. I haven't done the research. However, at least here in America, almost every state has got more than one racetrack, in which case you should do some digger deeper digging. This is why I like to edit my videos or edit our videos. But you should do some more digging and find all the tracks that are in your area or within an hour or so drive. I know it sucks, but I guarantee you that the amount of money that you'll pay, and this right here comes back over to the Dancing Moto thing. You go out there, rip it on your bike and crash. I almost guarantee you that most of the time you're going to end up needing to be ambulanced out. All right. If you're pushing it hard, or you don't even have to be pushing it hard. Jixabra recently got into an accident, in which case a truck pulled out in front of him and he T-boned it on his supermoto. Dude's pretty messed up. I don't support a lot of his content. However, I do feel for him, and I hope that he recovers. Same with Dancing Moto. I hope that Dancing Moto recovers and learns from his mistakes. All right? But that right there just goes to show that whether it's a high-speed accident or a low-speed accident, you can get seriously hurt. All right? Motorcycling isn't a safe hobby, transportation method, or whatever. There is inherent risks. However, there is also things to mitigate those risks. Making sure that you know how to properly handle your bike is one of them. Going to a racetrack, great way to learn. Okay? All right, now, moving on. There's a lot that we could go and sit here and talk about, and until I have some people in the comment section piping up saying that, intervening, I'm just going to keep moving on along here. Now, for the past 2 weeks or so, I've had a number of newer riders. I'm talking like under a year riders. Now, both of them went and did the Motorcycle Safety Foundation's course. It's a great tool. There is better ones out there. But one of the things that I've noticed was, and this happened with both Mike and I, when you first get into riding a motorcycle, typically you're so focused on the bike that you skip out on a lot of your gear. Now, I get it. I was there. However, I didn't skimp per se on the core part. I skimped on some other parts, and I really wish I wouldn't have, because I destroyed a pair of shoes. Or tennis shoes. Not by crashing, but by saving myself from crashing, like the first day I rode. But I always recommend that when you're heavily considering getting into motorcycling, that you should go out and buy your gear first. Find out what type of bike you're interested in, and find the gear that best fits that use case, and do your research on your gear. There's a lot of different options out there. And usually, when you first get into riding motorcycles, you see the cost of gear and you're like, why is it so expensive? And you're pinching and you're trying to find cheaper solutions. So you go to Cycle Gear or wherever and you look for the cheapest options. All right. These right here were like, God, how much were they? They were super cheap. Under $100. All right. These are a summer glove. All right. These summer gloves will provide you summer gloves from, I don't even know what brand this is. I think it was Built. I wore them so much that the logo here has worn off. At least if I remember correctly, these were Built, and yep, they are. Okay. All right. Now, I've got pretty large hands. I wear an extra large glove in most sizing charts. These are not comfortable, as well as they're not going to offer really any protection other than from, say, wind and bugs smashing into my knuckles. All right. What I recommend for summer, if you're on a sport bike, okay, because different types of bikes, typically the use case will dictate what style gear you're going to go with. All right. But for the summer, I usually wear these. And I'm not paid by Alpine Stars. Our channel isn't sponsored by Alpine Stars. I just recommend using a company that is high quality or known to be high quality or mainstream. And I know that I've seen on Reddit some people knocking Alpine Stars quality. Look, every big company is going to have some flaws, all right? However, I'm pretty sure that if you contact them and you show them proof of purchase, they're going to warranty them out. Because with most Alpine Stars gear, you can go and warranty it out after, like, within the first 2 years and get a replacement. So, food for thought. Now, these right here are the SB8 Airs. They're ventilated. These work great in the summer on a sport bike. All right. At the track, I've got these gauntlet gloves from Racer. I picked them up during one of the WIMRA events last year when I forgot my gloves. A big difference here between these. All right. I want to point this out. Overall, the construction looks relatively the same. Relatively. They've got knuckle guards. These ones are ventilated. These ones aren't. All right. The race one here. Oh, here. Let me get rid of this. I didn't think about that. All right. Start recording. Okay. So. Boom. All right. My bad. I'm still learning all this stuff, okay? All right. So let me go back so that you can see what I'm talking about. All right. So this right here is a gauntlet glove for like street riding. This is a gauntlet glove for racing. This is Alpine Stars SP8. This right here is the Racer. I don't know what model, okay? But there is some... Overall, they look really similar as far as design. Oh, yeah. As far as design, these are really similar. They've got the pinky webbing. All right. And just in case you're wondering what this is for, what purpose it isn't to make you feel like a T-Rex with your two small fingers here. It is to keep your pinky attached to a stronger finger in the event that you go down. All right? I'll leave the rest of that up to your imagination. Now, like I was saying, venting-wise, this glove isn't going to have a whole lot of venting per se. All right? This glove here will. It's meant for the street. This has got a bunch of carbon fiber bits and pieces on it. This has got some plastic bits. They're pretty strong for your knuckle guards. All right. And this one right here has got padded knuckle guards for right here. Like more designed to withstand bug impacts, maybe some light debris from the road. This is designed for a lot more. All right. Street specific gear, race specific gear. Okay. But back to my point, choose gear that, buy your gear first. but do some research on it based on the type of bike that you're going to ride. I guarantee you that if you go out and you buy gear first before you get the bike or before you go and take the course to get your license, that you will follow through with the rest of it, okay? Especially if you have that gear sitting there staring at you, is you got your helmet, you got your gloves, you got your pants, you got your jacket, you got your boots. You're going to be like, oh, I've spent all this money on this gear, I really want the bike. You're going to get it, all right? Just make sure to invest in yourself first, because it will cost you a whole lot more money to go out and have to keep upgrading gear because you realized, oh man, this didn't have the features and the whatevers that I've seen other riders have, or that I just noticed that this other jacket had. I've spent tons of money on gear, and I've given some gear away, but I learn more and more about gear as I ride more. But yeah, there's a lot of money in it. However, I promise you that if you invest the money into buying the gear, that you will buy the bike. Okay? Now, we're getting into winter time, all right? And that means that, yes, there's summer gloves, there's summer sporty gloves, there's racing gloves, there's also winter gloves. Now, the big craze out there is these heated gloves. I've tried them. I didn't really care for them because it's another thing that could go wrong. There's another thing that you have to remember to plug in and charge, or hook another thing up to your bike. All right? Some Harleys, I know they come with some special plug for the heated gear. Good for you. All right? But ultimately, what my point is, you buy yourself a good pair of winter gloves, you won't have to worry about that. All right? Now, winter gloves, these have got a thermal lining inside, as well as a I just had it, Gore-Tex liner, okay, which is waterproof. At least I believe it's a Gore-Tex liner. But these Dry Star gloves here from Alpine Stars, like I said, I'm not sponsored by them. The channel's not sponsored by them. I'm not being paid to say any of this about Alpine Stars. But like I said, when you find a company that makes good quality products, you freaking stick with them. All right. But my hands have always stayed dry. My hands have stayed warm. And I've ridden in some insanely cold weather. And I'm on a naked bike. I have no wind protection. These kept me warm and dry. Okay? I highly recommend it. I've been talking to, like I said, a few newer riders of lately, and we were talking about gear, which provoked me to come on here, record this, stare at a camera to talk to you about gear. Now, if you're watching this live, awesome. Drop a comment down below. If you watch this after the fact, tell me what gear you recommend. All right? Now, another piece of gear that I recommend you having all year long would be a balaclava, or I like to call it a helmet sock. All right? Now, this right here serves multiple purposes, okay? I'm not going to put it on. But what this does for you is, one, keeps the sweat that is going to come off of your head in this, and doesn't get all over the inside lining of your helmet. Okay, it also keeps the sweat from coming down into your eyes during the summer. During the winter time, you can get these in multiple different styles. I like my neck protected. Okay, you get stung in the neck by a bee while you're riding down canyons or whatever, you will regret it. It's gonna hurt like crazy, and if you're allergic, it's gonna really suck. Okay, but these protect from wind and bugs and other debris. I've been hit in the neck by rocks, okay? And obviously this doesn't provide impact protection, but it at least stopped it from drawing blood. All right, it's a small rock. But I recommend picking up one of these. Now, I've had the Alpine Stars ones. They work great. They have a winter one that has a neoprene lower layer to come on down here to help keep your chest warm during the winter, as well as it's neoprene, so it's water resistant, but they have a water layer, like water repellent layer, that you'd flip out over the top of your collars for your jacket. That helps keep the rain from coming down inside your jacket. All right, your jacket probably zips up pretty high. If you're wearing a winter jacket or a waterproof jacket, but get one of these. This one right here, God, I want to say it was like 20 bucks, maybe, or maybe less. And the nice thing about this one, and what is this brand? ILM. I just searched on Amazon for a balaclava. Is that it's got these multiple parts here for the construction, so you can just pull it off the top of your head when you come to a stop, gas station or whatever. You don't walk, you don't have to either feel like you have to keep your helmet on or take it off and then rip this off, not rip it off, but pull it off and then shove it into your helmet. Because if you have this tucked down inside of your jacket, it doesn't really want to leave, which is good. So you can just pull this back and it drops down like a little hoodie. All right. And then when you're ready to ride again, you pull it back up over your head and then slap your helmet on. The other thing that this does for you is, if you put on a helmet, you know the pain of sitting there and fighting with your ears after you get your helmet on. And you got to reach up inside the helmet or take the helmet and wiggle it around to try to get your ears back up in place. Buying one of these keeps that from happening. Helmet slides right over your ears. No problem. All right, now we're going to move on to the gear that I use and some of the features that I look for when I'm looking for winter gear, okay? Okay, here we go. We have Alpine Stars Dry Star jacket. Now this jacket is more for, like, it was designed more for adventure riders, but I've been using this thing for about 3 years, or over 3 years now. And aside from the atrocious styling that I don't like, this is a really good jacket, okay? So, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the styling of this jacket. It's blue and red, and I ride a black Ducati. When I first got this, I was riding a white Ducati. Alright, I wasn't getting any points, any style points, alright, for having gear that looked good with the bike that I was riding. But, who cares about that? Oh. Technical errors. We will reshoot this spot here. All right. I'm back. Okay, so now, I don't know why I got into doing this stuff when technology isn't my friend, but, all right, so now, so talking about here. Yeah. So, I wasn't going to get any style points for this particular, the blue and the black and the red. But I wanted to make sure that I was going to be comfortable year round. I didn't want to buy multiple different types of gear when I first started street riding. All right, I wanted a jacket and pants that were going to work with me year round. And this does the job. I usually start wearing this jacket when temperatures start dropping below about 60 degrees. All right. And I've done a video on this jacket, but I want to cover it again. All right. So, first off, just a raincoat isn't going to work. Not on a motorcycle. All right. So just whatever work jacket or whatever you have isn't going to really provide you adequate protection from all the things. All right. I know that typically we focus on if you're going to crash, how's this gear going to protect me? All right. There's other aspects to motorcycle gear, from weatherproofing, your pockets, its fit. All right, there's some things that when you sit on a motorcycle, there's some places that leave you exposed, and motorcycle gear covers that. All right, so let's go into that. All right, some features that I look for when I'm choosing gear is, first off, for the winter, I want it to be waterproof. All right, so you make sure that it's waterproof. Second, I want to make sure that there's areas where the padding is. All right. Now this does not have like the most high impact padding. This is designed, I'm assuming, for adventure riders or like touring. Okay, you're not going to be going stupid fast, and you shouldn't be going stupid fast in the rain. Dancing Moto. All right. Second, all right, is I want a removable thermal liner. Okay, this liner here keeps you warm, and it's removable, so you can take it out when it gets too warm if you need to wash it. And I also look for some of these features to make it easy to be able to remove, like these little tabs here, and you should see this on most motorcycle gear. All right, and it's not style points to have two hooks here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but you got a black one and a red one. All right, the color typically corresponds with, you know, the tab. Boom. And it's also labeled on here. Okay, so I want a removable thermal liner. Second, has to have feature. There's a way to attach the jacket to the pants. All right, the Velcro on this jacket is obnoxious, but to do that, Alpine Stars here has this zipper material. All right, this zipper piece, and it's stretchy. It's stretchy so that it doesn't try to pull your pants up to give you a wedgie when you bend over. And also, if you were to take a slide across the concrete, it should be strong enough to withstand you sliding down the street. Okay, that way you don't end up having to get a screen graph on your backside. or your front side. All right, after you've been wearing gear. Now, obviously, this type of gear here isn't going to protect you from high impact crashes. However, it will protect your skin. And one last thing that you'll have a medical bill over. But now, some bonus features. All right. On a lot of motorcycle gear, you might be wondering what this little hooky thing right here is. All right. Can you see it? Yep. Okay, you can see it. This little hooky thingy, that is for your collar. I use it sometimes. A little bonus feature of this particular jacket. But I just saw it and figured I'd point it out. Waterproof pockets. Alright, yes, the jacket's supposed to be waterproof, but it's nice that it's nice to have a pocket in your gear that is waterproof for your, oh, my insurance card. I forgot I had that in there. Nobody carries insurance cards anymore. It's all digital. Okay. So, that just goes to show you how long that's been in there. It's still legible. All right. So now, another feature is these buttons. You might see these buttons on motorcycle gear. What's that for? You open up the vent here and boom. This is how I was able to wear this jacket in like 70, 80 degree weather. It kind of sucked because this is a winter jacket. And unless we were moving, I felt like I was dying. Obviously, I had the thermal liners out. I also had every vent open. As long as I was moving, I was great. Okay. Then I went and I bought some summer-specific gear. But those buttons are usually to be able to hold open a vent. Or, in the instance over here, it is for adjustability. So you can tighten up different parts of the jacket. Because this thing will turn into a flag at over 100 miles an hour. It wasn't designed for it. Okay. So those are some features. Now, I want to point out some other features, okay, that I would recommend you looking for when choosing your winter coat. All right, it's one more on this one that I use all the time. Okay. And that is back vents. All right. Back vents are useful because it does just that, vents the air out. Or if you got the vents open in the front, you want your vents open in the back. That way the air will move through and not turn into a big parachute back here. It's kind of annoying. But while we're back here, make sure that the jacket that you choose, what you're looking at, has the option for a back protector. Okay, now, Alpine Stars does not sell you the back protector included with any of the jackets that I've ever purchased from them. You got to buy it separate. Now, their protectors are pretty good. They're really good. I really wish, Alpine Stars, if you're watching this, just include them in with your jackets or your gear. You make some of the best products on the planet, in my opinion. Let's put them in the gear that you sell. I'll make it an upsell for an extra $40 to include it. All right. But I do like how this one right here has got gear in right here. Gear, or not gear, but impact protectors in here. And up here. This is, like I said, this is for adventure riding. goal here is to make it so that it's comfortable to be able to move around in. Track gear is not. All right, now let's move on to the pants. All right, these are the Alpine Star Dry Star pants. All right, same thing with these. Make sure that they can be zipped into your jacket because, well, how many people have you seen ride their bikes and their backside showing? Huh? Another positive. You know, nobody wants to get, you know, rain down their backside or cold wind on their backside. Pick up some gear that you can zip into your jacket, and then you don't have to worry about flashing anybody your backside bits. Okay? Now, these also have the thermal liner, and I wear these pants year round. They're the only motorcycle pants that I currently own. They work in all weather. Okay? And one thing to keep in mind is that you're looking at the sizing chart. Go either half a size or one size larger so that you can wear clothes underneath these. They are designed for it, so keep that in mind when you're trying them on or ordering them. I recommend going into a store, trying on some gear, and look at their sizing charts. And when you do your sizing, make sure that you're wearing like some thick pants, a thick shirt, okay? Or maybe even a hoodie, okay? Do your sizing that way because you will wear this gear, and then when you get to where you're going, you're probably going to want to take it off. So say you commute back and forth to work during the winter time on your bike, or maybe you're going out on a ride, whatever, but you're going to wear something on underneath it. Okay, so when you're sizing it, keep that in mind. All right, now these have got some knee protection over here, as well as it's got pockets inside for some other pads, like a butt protector. Okay, keep me dry, keep me warm. Now there's some features within these that I would look for, and that would be some more of these buttons here that are designed to hold open your vents. Now different companies, different manufacturers may have different styles, but it's something that will come in handy during the summertime or when it starts warming up to cool down your nether regions. Now, that there will conclude this video. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. Let me know what gear you use. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next ride.